Yesterday, I participated in the funeral of Leon DeShields. Now, Leon DeShields and his wife Murdis, they were key and instrument of Sigrid and our children and me coming to the United States. So we would not be who we are, and we would not be here without them. Now, I was not the only officiant. There was a dear Bible Baptist friend there with me. And when you think of covering all the ground, well, there we were. Bible Baptists, fundamentalists, and Dietmar on the opposite. Makes for an interesting funeral and for an interesting conversation. Now, what does that mean we were in opposite corners or on opposite side of our faith? It means like Howard is a hellfire and brimstone preacher. If you wonder what is brimstone, Jake, brimstone is sulfur. And it's called brim because it's burning. It's burning, that's from where it comes. So when lightning struck a sulfur place, it started to burn. So it's pretty much the same as fire and hell. So what Howard tried to do for us is to scare us into the faith and say, turn or burn. You get it? Now is the time. You gotta be afraid. My approach is a little bit differently. And I understand faith as not being scared into it, but I understand it as a radical trust. Do you trust God with your life? Do you know that your life is in God's hands? Do you know that you are God's beloved? And God, Jesus goes the extra mile and goes the extra mile and gathers you in and your family with Jesus. Now, when Jesus says, love your enemies, how am I to love Howard? They would lock us up in one prison cell. And I think, well, Howard is early 70s, I'm early 50s, so I would come out on top. Or we would draw a line and say, you stay in your corner, I in mine. Otherwise, we each other would get in trouble. When Jesus' mother and brothers and sisters are coming, and talking with those with whom Jesus is gathered, they're saying, Jesus lost it. Jesus is crazy. He's out of his mind. Now, why are they saying that? Because Jesus is saying, love the ones who don't look like you, who don't think like you, who don't love like you, who don't speak like you, who don't vote like you, who don't pray like you. Love those who do not like you. Love your neighbor, no exceptions. That sounds crazy, and that is crazy in our world, so no wonder Jesus' mother and his brothers and his sisters say, he has a screw loose. He lost his marble. There's something not right with him. He lost it. Now, what is this about Jesus' love? Now, when Jesus says, love your enemies, love your neighbor, he does not mean the fuzzy feeling. He does not mean that. He means love through actions. How do you respect? How do you speak? How do you care for? What do you do for that person? It's this self-giving love of Jesus, the agape love in our New Testament scriptures. That is the love that Jesus is talking about. And that love is stronger than hate. When Martin Luther King Jr., they marched in Chicago, and there was this young white man who started throwing bricks, and at some point he was tired of it. So he walked up to this young fellow and he said, "For someone so young and so bright and so good looking, so brilliant, there is so much hate in you. What is it?" Michael Curry, Episcopal bishop, you may know him from the royal wedding. Yes, that's Michael Curry. He has a new book out that says, "Love is the way." Love is the way. And he doesn't mean this fuzzy feeling, butterfly love and whatever. He means the love that is grounded, that goes the second mile, that brings a pie to the one who is struggling with a loss in the family. It's not the easy love. It's the love that loves through actions. Generally, we say blood is thicker than water. They say that always about churches. Pastors in seminary, be careful, tread carefully, because blood is thicker than love, which means, no, I said it the wrong way. Blood is thicker than water. Yeah, you pay good attention. You pay good attention. And what means like the water would be the baptism. You baptize people into the body of Christ. They're part of the body of Christ. But watch out when you step on toes of family members. Be careful there. Now, what Jesus says is not that blood is thicker than water. Jesus says love is thicker than blood. Love trumps blood. Love trumps DNA. Your family relationships are not as important as the love relationships. Now, thank God, most of the time they align. Okay, we say most of the time our family of origin, our DNA, our love, our friends align with loving the way like Jesus does. But sometimes they do not. And how do you choose in those situations? And for Jesus, he gives us an example what he chooses. He sits with tax collectors. They were thieves. They were robbing people, just taking advantage of people. He sits and dines with prostitutes. He sits and dines with strangers, with foreigners, with Syrophoenicians, with people that good Jewish people did not associate with. You see the difference? To Jesus, those who are different, those who live on the margins, those who the reprobates, they are family. He sits, he lives with them. And when his mother, his sisters, his brothers are coming, they're saying, he's crazy, he's out of his mind. Yes, that is crazy. It goes against the norms. Sometimes it goes against everything in us to do that. So when the people with whom Jesus is gathered, they say, oh, your mother, your sister, your brothers, they're all here. Jesus says, look at these people here. Whoever does love like Jesus, whoever loves like God, they are family. Who do you have a hard time loving? Who are the people in your life who don't look like you, who don't vote like you, who don't love like you, who don't think like you, who don't speak like you, who don't pray like you? Who are those people in your lives, in your neighborhood, at your place of work? Who are they? Will you seek out one of those persons this week and love them as Jesus does through actions, by befriending them, by doing something for them? Who do you have a hard time with, my friends? And how will you love them? That's the way of Jesus. Who do you have a hard time with? How do you love them? How will you love them? Practically.